Most Forex traders blow their accounts in 90 days, but there's one simple strategy that pros quietly use every single day. They do this on repeat. And today, I'm giving you the sauce for absolutely no cost, right? Now, you don't need 10K in your trading account to have growth. You just need to lock in on the charts and to have one setup and apply discipline all day, every day to execute that same setup all the time. Now, I'm about to get into this, so stick around until the very end because I'll be dropping a checklist so that you know exactly how to get in and how to get out on a daily basis to make consistent profits within the financial markets. Welcome back. Welcome back, YouTube family. Now, if you're new to this trading space, you know it's Carrie-Ann. And, if you're absolutely new here, I just want you to understand that trading is a beautiful skill that takes time to learn. It's not a get rich quick scheme, but it can be that skill that elevates your life once you lock in. Right now, I've been trading for 3 years right now, and I'm telling you, the growth, everything, about the journey is becoming sweeter and sweeter. So just stay locked in and understand that by the end of this video, you'll have a strategy that works across all pairs, all indices that you can think of. You can lock in on this one 120%. Now, I'm about to, drop a step-by-step guide so that you can, dive into this strategy that is known as the London breakout and the New York continuation. So what do we mean by this? Now, if you're new to this trading space, I want you to really understand that you've got four major trading sessions. You've got Sydney, you've got Tokyo, you've got London, and you've got New York. Now, depending on what you're trading, the majority of the action is generally within London and the New York session, right? So timing is everything when it comes on to trading. So step number one, right? I want you to trade only at the right time. You cannot be trading when you feel like trading. Get up out of your bed and trade at the right time when there is volume in the market and you've got the sessions overlapping so that you're able to get the most volume and make the most profits, right? Now, a lot of people will, probably say, okay, this time is better for me, but what time is really better in terms of when the market is moving at its best? So I want you to pay keen attention to when the volume really comes in and trade at that specific time. Now, depending on what you're trading, you want to avoid Asian session, right? Depending on what you're trading, you can have really, really low volume when it comes on to certain pairs or certain indices during the Asian session, right? Which is your Sydney and your Tokyo. Now, we can trade any currency pair with this strategy that I'm, gonna be showing you, whether it's Euro USD, GBP USD, USD JPY, GBP JPY, US 30 NAS, gold, you name it, it all works, right? It all works. So that's step number one. We want to be looking for the highest probability setup, and we're looking for that time where we can lock in, right? So we're on the charts. And literally, we're focusing on major zones like our London and our New York session. I clearly have on the Lux Algo sessions indicator so that it separates the trading sessions. And I also have on the Kaale, right? Now, with the sessions, it provides clarity in terms of what price is doing within these time frames, right? And as you can see, this is Sydney, Tokyo. We were consolidating, right? Came into London. We were still consolidating a bit until we drop it like it's hot. And then, of course, New York came in and continued the drop it like it's hot kind of movement. So this is really what we want to focus on. And I'll drop it here. It's literally the London breakout, right? The London breakout, New York continuation, right? That's really what we're zoning in on today, right? You want to lock in on understanding where the power move is at to be able to take that power move and run with it so that you can have maximum profits, right? So London does the breakout, New York continues the move to that in that direction. Okay. Now, most pairs generally do have a lot of movements like this. Now, depending on where you are, right? The timing is everything. I believe if you're in, US, Canada, possibly Jamaica, it would be around 7 a.m. or 10 a.m. your time that you'd be looking for that London breakout, right? Then if you're here in the UK, you're going to be looking for that somewhere along the line of about 1 to 3 thereabout. So we want to focus on these power moves, right? And when we get them, we'll be able to take them. Now, let me remove even my sessions here. This is all of your consolidation bit from your Asian to your London, right? And you literally want to highlight this bit and we're waiting on price to break out of it. That's literally what we do. Once we break out of it and we close, right? Karma is also confirming all of this on the 5-minute time frame. You literally get a poor move to the downside and you hold and you don't fold. And we're aiming to get back into popular zones or zones that the market has already been in. So if I use my horizontal line, I'd be aiming to get back somewhere into here, right? For my trade, right? To the downside. So this would look like a short position once we close outside, right? Could take it here, a stop, and we're aiming to get right here for a 1 to 3, almost 1 to 4, right? Now, you also had a second opportunity here when the New York session started and we pulled back, could have gotten in even on the pullback if you did not get in before, right? And this would literally be, a successful trade where you would have clocked profits there. And then, of course, you'd have seen where we hit that nice demand zone, had a little bit of what we call a liquidity sweep, because New York session often comes with liquidity grabs, and then we had price going to take out London's high, right, for the day. Now, I want you to pay attention to this. This is literally your London breakout. So we are in this consolidation phase, moving sideways in a range, right? Price moving sideways. Then we were waiting on the break outside of this box. Once we got it, we took the trade because we closed below the box with good volume. And even if you scale down and you said, okay, let me see what the happenings look like on the lower time frame. Hold on. And oh no, it's a sell, so it's not that one. Here we are. Okay, good. Look at it. Literally, the 1 minute would have even given you clear perspective right here as well. Right here where you took the trade, we broke out doji, engulfing bearish candle. Then we've got quite a few dojis, and then of course rejection of the karma, nice engulfing, and you could have taken the trade even right here off the 1 minute time frame, right? So you do have the ability to even say, okay, yeah, we were looking at the 5 minute. Let's see what the 1 minute is actually doing. And this is on US 30. And I'm telling you, this is a powerful one on US 30. London breakout, New York continuation. So London, you know, dismantled this box where we were ranging in, broke out of it, and New York continued the move to the downside. Beautiful, beautiful setup in regards to the whole idea of waiting on the power hour when London breakout happens, right? So you sit on your hands and you wait for that breakout. Now, it doesn't have to be a breakout that's bearish. It could have been a bullish breakout. You're waiting on whatever the play is, and you're able to take something when the play comes, right? That's literally what I want you to understand. Now, too often as traders, we spend too much time to dictate to the market where to go. I don't want you to be dictating to the market where to go. I want you to be analyzing the markets, and wherever price decides to go, you follow, right? You follow. You never ever want to be against the trend, especially in the New York you know, session. Never ever want to counter the trend during the New York session. So that's number one. We focus on the timing so that we can get that perfect breakout, right? Focus on the timing. So oftentimes that's 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. And if we're looking at GMT, which is London time, 1 p.m. to about 3 p.m. thereabout, right? Okay, so this is literally, you know, US 30, and I'll put the sessions back on so that you can see as well. So Luxalgo sessions, and you can see it clearly shows you ranging in London here, broke out, New York came in, we continued the move. And this is not something that happens on a one-off basis. This is like a frequent thing, right? If we go even back here, you would have seen the same play. London came in. This green box is our consolidation box. Price moving sideways. And then what happened was that we broke out. And of course, New York carried the move. Once we had that overlapping of the session, right? We carried the move to the upside before we drop it like it's hot and created the low of the day, right? And look, it's on our same line here, right, as well. So you could be trading these breakouts. This is a nice power move to the upside. You could have caught quite a few points going up to the upside on this move, and you know, say, okay, let me catch 100 points on US 30. Once you catch your 100 points, you're done, you're out, and you would have made massive profits, right? So literally, I just want you to understand that you have this, which is literally your London breakout, New York continuation. All right, so this is London again. London is having a high here, a low here, and of course, we broke out of the structure during the overlap, and the New York carried the move to the upside, right? Similar thing here, where we were ranging, we broke out, and of course, we are bullish, and New York carried the move to the upside before we drop it like it's hot. So you want to pay attention to all of these beautiful things that is happening. And of course, your added confluence, your karma is also going to give you the indication. We don't have to do it on the 1 minute. If you don't want to feel too risky, you can stick to your 5 minute chart and be able to look for these zones where we're moving sideways, wait on price to break out of them. Once it breaks out, retest the consolidation box and reject with some engulfing candles, then we take the move to the upside, right? So you'd have had a little move to the upside on this one. All right, now this is one of the key things that I want you to understand when it comes on to, trading in general. Look at this moving sideways, and of course the massive move to the downside as I had shown to you here, moving sideways again, broke out bullish, and we continued during the overlap of the London and the New York, right? And this is quite frequent. This is a quite frequent move that you've got to pay attention to. So as I was showing you, we had here, we had London with highs here, London with lows here. And of course, we broke out and New York carried the move to the upside back into the supply zone here. All right. So this is a daily basis thing, right? Look, we broke out, London breakout, and now we're sitting here. We were previously resistance. Now we're sitting on it as support. And of course, we bounced during the overlap and we carried that New York bullish continuation move to the upside. So I just want you to understand that sessions are a powerful way to kind of analyze the markets and be able to go in and take your moves based on these analysis. Don't take it lightly. I know you see all these boxes and you're saying, oh, that chart looks so confusing, but I'm telling you, they are powerful confluences when it comes on to price action, right? And reading into price action, and then you can add all your added confluences like your karma and all of those, you add them, but you also have to understand price action. You have to understand that you have, the three ways, the three modes, basically when it comes on to trading of the accumulation, the manipulation, and the full distribution, right? Which happens on a daily basis. So look out for these, right? And one of the key things I want you to understand is that it doesn't just happen on indices. If we're to pull up like a Forex pair, we see the same thing. So reminder, step one, we're waiting on the timing where the power moves begin. So we're waiting on that London breakout. And then we are targeting into the New York continuation. And it's very easy for you to do step two, which is to mark out, which is what I was literally doing here. You're marking out the London session range. You can use a box, can use your horizontal line to mark the high and the low, wait on a break out of that, right? And of course, aligning it with the karma as well. So when you have the breakout box, it gives you a little clearer perspective, right? So if we know that this is what London has been doing within this range, right? We wait on price to break above it. Once we break above and close with such momentum, we could literally take the buy, right? And if you want to go down to your 1 minute to get sniper entries and all of that, once we break out, there's no problem. You can definitely do that, right? So that's literally number two. You highlight this consolidation area and you wait for the breakout of the box. Step number three is when you wait for that breakout, you only enter long position if price breaks above London's high, right? If price breaks above, you enter for, buys, but be sure to make sure the candle closes, right? Make sure the candle closes, right? Because that's your confirmation. The breakout candle must close and you must see momentum on the 5 minute in that direction, and then you can scale down to your 1 minute to see and spot that momentum. And we do this so that we can avoid fake outs, because sometimes we do have, liquidity grabs. So we do not want to just rush in before the candle close. We want to allow the candle to close, and once we see that close, and then we can allow the next candle to form. We're looking for wick rejection and continuation in that direction. Once we get that signal, then we're in on the buy or the sell. Okay. That's step number 3. Now, when you're looking at 4, we make sure we set a stop loss. So if I'm waiting on a breakout of this area and, I see that we're bullish, I'd be entering right here on this play. So I'd be entering for a long position. And of course, my stop can be here, right? And I'll be targeting, let me look here. I'll be targeting in this zone because this was where we were potentially right there. Yeah, I'd be targeting there. And because I normally do 1 to 3, I could say, okay, let me give it a wider gap. So my stop is below here to give the trade enough room to breathe. Now, even if it don't get there, one thing I always teach you is trail your stop. Once the trade is moving in your favor, keep adjusting your stop into profit so that you do not get stopped out with a loss when you're in a profitable and a successful trade, right? So that's literally what we'll be doing. We'll be setting our stop loss right below the move here and or take profit at the next resistance zone, which is literally here, right? That's why I aimed here. So we could set it here, which is a major zone here. We didn't quite get there, but we got maximum profits, right? We could do a 1 to 2 because some people do 1 to 2. There's nothing wrong with that. You'd have made your profits and you'd have gotten out with your 1 to 2. And do not forget to trail your stop, right? Because price can do anything at any given point in time, especially if it hits a supply or demand zone while you're in a trade, right? So be sure to trail your stop into profits as the trade progresses in your favor, right? And, number 5, a lot of people sometimes don't get this. Avoid news, especially if you're a new trader and you don't know anything about fundamentals. Avoid news and avoid over trading, right? So when you're checking for news events, you can go Forex Factory, right? And do that. And you want to check for events like your NFP, your CPI, FOMC, all those news that will have major impact on the market, right? And once you use Forex Factory, it would literally give you all the news updates so that you can be aware of what's happening, right? And you're only going to be focusing on taking 1 to 2 high quality setups, right? So we're waiting on those London breakouts. If we get that, we take a nice setup. And if you want to, get the continuation into New York, you can aim for that. And then oftentimes you do have a reversal bit where you can get that as well. But if you can, stick to 1 or 2 maximum trades for the day so you lock in your profits and you don't make it and give it back to the markets, right? So let's see if we can pull up something on the charts here. So we've got GJ, right? And GJ would literally be giving you nice London breakouts, right? Reason being, GJ is, it moves really nicely in the London session. So for GJ, I'd be doing something slightly different. I'd be looking at the Asian range, right? The Asian low, and I'd be waiting on a breakout of there. And this was a perfect one. Why do I say that? We were ranging in this area, right? We broke out, retest. After we break out, we closed below, had a nice retest, right? With rejection and all into the karma, and we continued to the downside. This is an easy 1 to 2 trade right here, right? That you could have taken and made profits on this downtrend, right? So if you're trading like, GJ, then I'd be looking at the Asian range so that we get the London breakout because we often get a nice breakout for London for GJ. All right. So that would be my advice for GJ. Look at this again. Nice move here. And then, of course, we got a massive move to the downside on London session. Phenomenal stuff, right? So the Asian would have been ranging, or consolidating, and we'd be waiting on the London breakout, which was massive, right? And most times if you do it that way, you would see that, wow, we are gonna get nice moves on that. So every pair is different. Remember, GJ is the pound, right, with the Japanese yen. So it's most likely to move within the Tokyo session as well as our London session. That's where the power move is generally going to be at for GJ, right? US 30 on the other end, you know, the power move is definitely going to be at New York, right? So let's have a look at gold. Gold does this massively as well, too, right? So oftentimes we'll have London ranging, then we'll have a nice breakout on the overlap of the London and the New York, right? So if we look at this one, this is literally our box with, you know, price on the 5-minute time frame. So we're waiting on the New York session to come in to see the play that happened, right? So New York comes in, right? And what we're expecting is that we could possibly get a continuation in this direction, right? There we go. Perfect. There we go. Massive stuff. And as you can see, we came back into this area here. Price does this all the time. When I tell you this, I'm giving you free game here. Make sure you're making notes, right? So we came back into this area, which is a strong supply zone, right? Strong supply zone right here, where we pushed down from previously. We came there and rejected. Okay, so we have the London making the move here, right? And then New York continues the move. Same thing happens on gold. So initially, right, we were kind of making these mumbo jumbo moves slightly. You can see that the karma is green, it's red, it's all over the place until you had that nice flow in London pushing up, right? Then had a pullback. And of course, when New York came in, we swept the high of London, right? We're definitely going to be doing that most days, right? So you want to pay attention to the high and the low of London, wait for that breakout, right? And take the trade in the New York. But it all depends on what you're trading. You're going to have power moves on gold in New York session. You're going to have some plays in London as well, but the power move is going to come in the New York session mainly, right? Know your pair, know when it moves the best, and be able to decipher what it's actually doing by putting these sessions on, evaluating price action, right? And even using your added confluences like your karma, right? You know, I state all the time that even though you're using like an indicator, you have to understand price action. It is very important to understand what price is doing so that you're able to actually say, you know what, I get this. We're now going to be, you know, doing a liquidity sweep, right? We're now going to be doing that liquidity sweep because the banks have to induce price to be able to fill their orders to the upside, right? You have to understand price structure, price action, market structure. You have to understand that. And then everything else becomes an added confluence to give you the confidence to take the trade, right? So here's my suggestion, right? With some pro tips that I'm going to leave with you. Stick to 1 or 2 pairs. Don't do more than 2 pairs because the longer you are with that pair, you'd begin to understand it better. It's just like dating. If you're dating someone and you're with them, you know, for a long time, eventually you're going to know this individual like the back of your hand. That's really what trading is. Don't cheat on your pair. Don't be a cheater. Lock in, right? And go all in on the pair that you have selected. Love it, you know, embrace it, understand its likes, its dislikes, know when it's awake, know when it's asleep, know everything about it, right? You've got to get intimate with your Forex pair or your indices. It doesn't matter what you're trading, get intimate with it, love it. Like, it's the love of your life, and you're gonna lock in to this pair no matter what, right? And when it comes on to trading with the New York trend, make sure you're working with the trend and never against it. The volume is heavy in New York. So be in alignment with that trend so that you can catch the power move always. And be sure to make a note of your trades, because it makes your trading better when you make a note of, okay, this is the trades that I took this week. Okay, wow, I've had some improvements. Now you can reflect better because you've logged it and you've made a note of it, right? So this strategy is quite simple. You want to be locking in on trading sessions, looking for your London high, your London low, waiting for that breakout, New York continuation pattern move, right? And, be able to take the trade and mash up your account with profits, not blow it with losses, but, get the profits locked in by doing the right things. So if it is that you're getting any value, by the way, from this, make sure to hit the like, hit subscribe, and drop Forex in the comments if you're ready to trade smarter rather than blowing 10, 20, 30 accounts over and over again. All right. Now, if you've made it this far, I'm going to add a checklist, right? In the description below. You just need to click the link in the description below, sign up the form, and you'll get that checklist coming to you so that you can have a sweet checklist on, locking in on trading the London breakout and New York continuation strategy on whatever pair you trade. Now, as I explained with GJ, I would slightly do it different. I'd be looking at the breakout within the Asian kind of session, and then, captivating the move on London, because London generally has some powerful moves on GJ. As you can clearly see that I've outlined, we were consolidating in Sydney, Tokyo, and then we dropped, right here. Tokyo brought the market all the way up, and of course London carried it, right, with a continuation to the upside. So you want to pay attention to, what price is doing. And sometimes just using these tools like your Lux Algo sessions, it highlights what price is actually doing within the sessions so that you have a clearer picture of price action. So don't be afraid to put on your sessions on your chart so that you can clearly see. I use these all the time because they make me a ton of money based on price action, based on these breakouts that happen, because one of my favorite things to trade is break and retest. I love when we get breakouts and I captivate those moves. I capture those moves all the time once I have the opportunity to. And I want you to lock in and do the very same thing too, so that you can grow that small account into a big account and buy the Lamborghini, right? Or buy whatever it is that you do desire, because of course the small money ain't gonna get you the Lamborghini just like that. But once you learn the skill and you begin to leverage tools like prop firms, of course, now things become even better. So lock in, study, backtest, prove your strategy works by, doing at least 100 trades, documenting your wins and your losses. What's the win rate when you have done those, a total of 100 trades, right? So with that said, literally, I hope you enjoyed this video, right? And I hope you learned something new. If you did, just drop it in the comments down below so that I know I'm giving value in my videos. Anyways, if there is also anything that you want to get some more clarity on, be sure to drop it in the comments and I'd be happy to help as well. With that said, I want you to remember to put God first in everything you do, because if he's in it, without a doubt, you've got to win it. And lock in on this trading journey with everything that you've got. No excuses, no procrastination. I want you to really understand that you're more than able, you're more than capable, you've got the potential, you can do this. Just lock in. right? Be on the charts, study, back test, forward test, never stop. Just keep going no matter what, because I'm telling you, as long as you don't quit, the other side becomes really beautiful. So stay focused and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.